Hi there, Paul Rossi here with 910 Drones. And recently we've gotten a lot of questions about one of our training devices that we put together in order to get pilots more familiar with stick controls as far as ascending, yawing at the same time. So taking some of these inputs and doing them together requires some type of training material, so when your pilots get out into the operational real-world environment, they are comfortable controlling the aircraft in the manner that they want it. So we've got all of the materials right here that we're going to need to put this together. So now I'm just going to grab the camera. I'm going to quickly pan around and show everything. Since I've gotten quite a few folks that were interested in this, I finally had the time to go ahead and put this all into a single document. So all the materials needed, the lengths, the measurements, that's all going to be put together in a Word document, and that will be shared along with this video. So before I start putting everything together, just want to show you what it is that makes up this NIST circular drone training device. We're using 1/4 inch and a half PVC pipe as well as 3/4 inch PVC pipe to construct this. So to start out with our 1.5 inch PVC pipe, you can see we have our 7 sections right here. 7. These are about 28 inches. 1.5 inches cut to 28 inches. And then we have 4 more 1.5 inch PVC pieces cut at 1 foot. We then have 4 for our buckets. We have 4 3/4 inch PVC pipes cut at 1 foot. For the 1.5 inch PVC pipes, we've got 5 total caps. So that's 5 caps for the 1.5 inch PVC pipe. And then we have 4 converters, 4 adapters. And what these do is this is going to adapt from the 1.5 inch PVC pipe to the 3/4 inch PVC pipe for our arms. We also have 3 90-degree 1.5 inch PVC pipes. These are for our base. And then we have 4 45-degree 1.5 inch pipe fittings. So that's all of our PVC material. And then we're going to have 4 1/4 inch nuts and bolts. And this is going to be for securing our base. You can actually see we've got our screw holes here. And once we put this together, you're going to see what those screws are doing. So in addition to our PVC pipe and our bolts, we also have 4 5-gallon buckets, and we have 8 zip ties. The zip ties, you want them to be a pretty good length. The shorter they are, the more difficult it'll be to use them. So if you can get a 10-inch or 12-inch zip tie, that would be great. And then 4 buckets. So what I want to do now is put the camera back up, and I'm just going to walk through putting all this together. Now the buckets, I'm going to put those aside. With my zip ties. each bucket. Now I'm going to start by building the base and working up. So I've got the 4 1.5 PVC pipe 90 degrees. And I'm going to grab 2 of my longer 1.5 PVC pipes. And now what I want to show you up close our little gimbal motor just quit out on itself there. Is once we fit these, the 1.5 1.5, we want to take that 1/4 inch drill bit and we want to drill with our drill, and I've already pre-drilled these, is get that all the way through. So then we can come in with our set screw here and we can feed this right through. Now I'd grab 4 inch, 1/4 inch bolts here. I would recommend a 3 inch, no less than a 3 inch. The 4 inch really isn't too bad. It gives you room to have some leverage. And now that's put together. And what I recommend is labeling with a black Sharpie, once you start putting this together, your different pieces. This way when you're reinstalling it, you're gonna know exactly what goes where. So now you can see, if you put it together once, you can take it apart, you'll already have your holes. And now I'm gonna go find my other 1.5 piece that has A on the other end. And we're gonna put that in and we're gonna screw it to keep it secure. So there's my A. Sometimes you might have to give it a little tap on the ground. You're gonna get that hole to line up. And now we're gonna put in our bolt. Now I recommend for your base, with these set screws, and at least for 2 of them, is to keep them that one slides right in. Take a little push with the hands, you'll get it. And now our bolt. And we've got the first portion together. So now we're gonna grab the side legs, and I'm gonna do that same concept with our other 90 degrees. Again, I have it pre-marked, so I can push this on, line up those holes. You're gonna take that bit on this same part with this 1/4 inch, and you're gonna drill a hole in here as well. You're gonna take that 1/4 inch bit and you're gonna drill through. You're gonna do that same thing. You're gonna take the screw, and that screw is gonna slide through. Much easier than the other one. Boom. So one more 90 degree. We're gonna take this 90 degree, the last one. We're gonna throw it on the ground. No, we're gonna take it. That one's gonna slide in. It's gonna line up with the holes. It's our last bolt. So again, we can see, there's the orange bucket. We can see it through the hole. We're gonna take our bolt. Get that hole lined up as best we can. Take that bolt. Stick that bolt right through. And we're gonna take our nut. We're gonna throw that on the ground. We're gonna take the nut. We're gonna secure the nut. So now what you can see is we've got our base. I want to make sure this is in the camera. We have our base where we've got a 90 degree, 90 degree, and a 90 degree. All with screws. Set screws going through them. So why? So this can't twist once we put our structure up. So now on both ends of our base, we're gonna take 1.5 inches. Again, these are about 30 inch in length. We're gonna take those. We're gonna knock one into each. Well, actually, we're gonna find we got H and H. We got I and I. Over here we've got D and D. And we've got C and C. So if I carry this over, you can see C and C, D and D, E and E, A and A, B and B, and then we're looking for E to go up off of this. Same thing over here, our 3 letters. So now the caps that we have, these 5 caps, if you want to get nice little fancy cleaner with it, you can pick up these 1.5-inch caps and you can cap the ends of your base in order to make it, you know, look a little bit more presentable, keep anything out of the piping. So our base is now complete. Now we've got 1.5-inch pipe left that's long, that's about 30 inches. So we're going to take that, we're going to find our letter, F and F, and we're popping that right in. So now we're building our structure up. So the next thing is we're going to take one of our 45-degree elbows, we're going to take this 45-degree elbow, and we're going to put this in on top of this 1.5 inches, and we're going to have that 45-degree pointing in line with this base side arm. So it's pointed like this. We're taking our 1.5 to 3/4 inch filler, we're popping that inside the 45-degree arm, and then we're taking our 3/4 inch 1 foot, this is 3/4 inch 1 foot, and we're popping it right in. Next, we're taking our first 1 foot, 12 inch, you can go 12 to 14 inches, 1.5 inch PVC pipe, and we're just gonna start building up our tower. And we're gonna repeat what we did down here. So we've got our 1 foot, 1.5 inch PVC pipe. We've got our elbow. Except every time we build up, we're gonna rotate the 45-degree 90 degrees. So now instead of that elbow being in line with this base leg, we're rotating it 90 degrees. So now it's pointing toward the camera. We're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna take our 1.5 inch filler that converts it to a 3/4 inch, pop that in, take our 1 foot, 3/4 inch pipe, we're gonna pop that in. So now we've got, just to say, we got one facing east, one facing south. Next up, we take our second 1 foot, 1.5 inch PVC pipe, pop that in, and we're just continuing to build up. So now we've got our 45-degree, and again, we're rotating it 90 degrees. So now, this arm is going to be pointed in line with the opposite base leg of the first 45-degree. We're taking our filler, popping that in, taking our 1 foot, 3/4 inch pipe, popping that in. We got our third arm. We're taking our third 1 foot long 1.5 inch pipe, we're popping that in. And we've got our last 45-degree elbow. And now this is going to get put on pointing toward me and away from the camera. It's going to be the last bucket in our rotation. Again, we're taking the 45-degree filler, the converter from 1.5 inch to 3/4 inch. We're taking our last 1 foot, 3/4 inch pipe, and we're popping that in. We've got our last arm built. To end it out, we've got a 1 foot, 1.5 inch pipe. We're gonna put a cap on that, and we're gonna put it on the top of the pipe here. What we can do is we can put a marking on top of here, we can set a cone on top of here, we can use this in the future for various training opportunities. So now we have our structure built, our phone. This is gonna work. The rest of it, you just have to maybe tilt your video a little bit because my camera's not working, but it's gonna work because it's gonna get the whole arm in here. So, positive technical difficulties. Our buckets, this is the last thing we have, is putting on our buckets. So, we've got our 2 zip ties and this 5-gallon bucket. So I want you to see is we've got 2 holes in 2 locations on the bucket. These holes are in line with one another. So set the bucket down, take the 1/4-inch drill and drill 2 holes next to each other about 1 inch apart. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our zip ties and we're gonna loop the zip tie through these holes. And do the same thing with the top one. So we've got the zip ties looped through the holes, and on the inside, what we're gonna do is we're gonna clip these zip ties together, but we're gonna leave a nice circular section that can come out. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna use those We're gonna use the little circular bits in order to hang this bucket on the arms. So when you pull them back through this way, you've got 2 little circular hooks. And what's gonna happen is these are gonna slide. You can see the arm in the background here. These hooks are gonna slide, first one and then second one, onto the arms in order to hang there. So they don't have to be perfectly tight, and you don't want them to be too tight because you want them to be able to fit over that 3/4 inch pipe. So I'm gonna walk over here now and set this bucket up here. I'm taking this first loop, putting it on, and second loop. And then that bucket right there is hanging and installed. And once it's on there, if you notice there's a little too much slack, you can tighten it up a little bit. And we're gonna repeat the same steps for the 4 of these buckets. What happens is once you've gotten all the zip ties on, you won't have to take these off each time. Get the zip ties on, get them to that length that you like, and then just stack the buckets for future use with the zip ties still on. When you're putting the buckets on, I recommend that you put them on opposite arms in order to maintain good balance. This pole is not going to be perfectly straight up and down just because of the nature of the PVC pipes. If you have to have something that is perfectly straight, I don't know what operations you're doing that would require that it be perfectly straight within training. But then you might want to go with like a 4x4 post or something more rigid. The only thing is you're going to lose the ability to have something that you can quickly take apart and transport. So that's that. You've got your NIST trainer. You can have your pilot or yourself. You start here with the drone, and you can do this at a variety of different altitudes. The closer in you are, the more difficult it is to maintain that good tight spiral. But what you're going to do is you're going to start down low, and you're going to rotate the drone around this structure while ascending at the same time. And the goal is to be able to see the bottom of the bucket, just like a nice round bottom of the bucket. You don't want to see the angle, you don't want to see the front wall, the back wall, or the side wall. Almost like a basketball coming into the hoop. You want to see that perfect circular shape. And depending on what you're doing for your training or what your operations are, you can put a variety of different things into these buckets. If you're doing for like thermal, if you're trying to identify hot spots, things like that, you can take an external battery, something you can get on Amazon, and a heating pad, plug that heating pad in and set that maybe inside the bucket. You can heat up different types of things, maybe like a big bag of rice or something. Put those in the buckets to create a thermal object to see. Visually, you can put kind of anything in there, maybe stuffed animals, maybe you can put for coloring purposes, or if you're trying to identify specific things within your operations, you can put those exact items within these buckets. But this right here is a fast, great portable device, great for getting pilots to start getting that rotational yaw and ascension and descension skills at the same time, and really using those fingers. So again, these set screws on the bottom, it's not very windy here today, but the 4 bolts that we ended up putting in, that's to help keep this structure. If you don't have those bolts in the bottom, this whole arm, the whole base could rotate, tip, tilt, and fall over. So you can do it without the 4 bolts and without having to screw into the PVC pipe, but just realize that your structure is going to be a little bit flimsy and will be susceptible to winds. What I'm going to do now, check to make sure that we're still recording, and I want to just tear this down real quick and stack it all together and show you what that looks like. now we can pack this in a closet, we can throw this in the back of a van, we can put this in the trunk of a 4-door Honda Civic, and we can take this to where we need to put the training, whether it's in the field or whether it's at a regional office. This is about as portable as it gets. This is about as convenient as it gets. And when it comes to storage, you can toss that almost anywhere. I don't know if that's even in the frame. You can toss that just about anywhere. But thanks for watching. Thanks for checking out this video. Hopefully this answers some questions that you might have had about what it takes to put together your starting initial training device for you and your team. If you have any questions, you can leave a comment or check out the link that I'm going to be providing that will give all the information for the materials needed to make this happen.